for April 21st, 2022. The meeting will come to order at 7:03. Dan, do you want to do roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Andrews.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus. Commissioner Burek.
Here.
Commissioner Carlson.
Here.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Lugo.
Here.
Commissioner Planton.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here. First on the agenda is the adoption of tonight's agenda. Everybody in approval? Anything you want to add or any comments on it? Okay, so we've adopted the agenda for tonight. Second on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any comments or anything they want to revise or add? There's one item that I wanted to bring to that. Let me just find my little notes here. Oh, not on the minutes. I do have something later on for the bylaws draft, but anybody else for revision or any comments on last month's agenda? Okay. So let's put it to the approval of the minutes. All those in favor for approval?
Is there a motion?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. And it's great at all the protocol.
I move that we approve the March 2020 minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You say aye. Any opposed? The minutes for March are approved.
Thank you. I will make a note that Commissioner Planton did provide me some small changes that are just like little kind of
Okay.
grammatical little ones, so.
Okay, good. Okay, so we move to the we're going to open the session as a public hearing to consider the first mural application for Oregon City. Very exciting. Welcome, Linda and Liz. And
Oh, one public comment. Yeah.
Public comment?
I think that goes later on.
No, public comment first is just the general, so anything not related to that, and then there's a public comment related to the public hearing.
Okay.
And so,
And then we also have presentations. I don't know, that's just in the order of the agenda.
Yeah, it's probably go off this one.
Yeah, okay, I must have something. Do we want to go through the presentations first then?
Yes,
Before we,
please.
okay, sorry about that. So the public comment, do you want me to read off the public comment statement here on the agenda?
no, it's
No.
okay.
Okay. So we will begin the presentations from OC 2040.
Oh, I'm sorry, what about public comments?
There were no public comment cards given.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody online who wants to make a public comment?
Lucas, do you want to make any public comment?
He's with me.
Yeah, so, we
Okay, I
don't-
just needed to,
yeah, we only have 2 people online.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. No, it's a good question.
Okay, so there are no public comments either online or have been given before. So we will move on to the presentations from OC 2040.
So Quilla is on the screen right now. She's zooming in on this meeting, so she will be taking over this part of the presentation.
Evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I need to get closer? Okay. All right. I really appreciate the flexibility of being able to do this via Zoom tonight. So my name is Aquila Hurd-Ravitch. I'm the Community Development Director for 4 months, 5 months maybe. So new-ish and excited to be here, and I hope to meet you in person at some point. I'm going to talk about OC 2040, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you my presentation, which is only a few slides, so I know you have a busy agenda tonight. So let's see. Can I use? Okay. Okay. All right. This is always. Okay. Am I in the slideshow? There we go. All right. Let me just check in one more time. Can you all see my screen? And
Yes.
okay, excellent. All right. So OC 2040, our Vision and Comprehensive Plan update. So what is OC 2040? It is a year-long process of visioning that led to the update of our comprehensive plan, or is leading to the update of the comprehensive plan. And it reflects the community's vision, and it will guide the development of goals and policies, and those goals and policies influence our zoning code and master plans. And I'll go through that a little bit more through these slides. So per state law, basically, all cities and counties within Oregon have to comply with the state land use goals. And we do that through our comprehensive plans. They're high-level policy documents, and the comprehensive plan has to meet these land use goals. And then within that, we're able to develop our own vision and identify how our community wants to meet those goals. And once that's adopted, once the comprehensive plan is adopted, all of our zoning codes and master plans have to comply with that comprehensive plan. And that is how the state ensures that their state land use goals are getting implemented. So examples of master plans are our transportation system plan, parks master plan, and other infrastructure plans. And I think I mentioned, but the zoning code is a big part of that as well. So comprehensive plans are these high-level policy documents. They reflect the vision of our community. And last August, the City Commission adopted a vision statement of 4 themes that I can go into. And so the comprehensive plan then is really based on this vision, and then with the goals and to help implement the vision and the policy statements that help get there. What it does not have are action items. Those come later, and they can come in the form of programs that the City Commission directs or specific policy initiatives. So last August, as I mentioned, the City Commission adopted our vision, and it was it's basically around 4 themes. So instead of kind of one vision statement, there are these themes of a healthy and welcoming community, a connected infrastructure, a diverse economy, and a protected environment. And the way that the comprehensive plan will be structured eventually is each of these themes will be in a chapter. And in that chapter, we'll have goals and policies. And there are other pieces that go into a comprehensive plan, but that kind of makes up the meat of that plan and what we're trying to implement. So this just goes into a little bit more detail of what some of those statements are. So there's these kind of 4 goal statements in each area. And in healthy and welcoming communities, we're looking at a diverse and inclusive community engagement, protecting our historic and cultural resources, and a safe, healthy, comfortable neighborhoods, and integrated diversity, equity, and inclusion approaches. In a diverse economy, in that chapter, we're looking at dynamic, ecologically sound, and socially equitable economy, housing options, maintaining the urban growth boundaries, and sustainable site design and construction practices. In connected infrastructure, that focuses on transportation, maintaining and improving our systems, our public facility systems, ensuring health and safety through comprehensive services, and resiliency and energy conservation. And then finally, in the final chapter of protected environment, we're looking at kind of a systemic approach to trails and parks and natural areas, the function of and health of our natural resources and ecosystem, and then mitigating natural hazard risk and manage rapid response and recovery. So I guess before I go on, I just want to talk a little bit about all of that wording that we just looked at. And since about January, the project team, which is staff and consultants, have been working on the specific language around those goals and policy statements. And we've been to Planning Commission and City Commission multiple times to really dial in what that wording should be to just really make sure that we're reflecting what we've heard from the community and what our policymakers are envisioning. So the wording that you just saw has changed. The intent did not. And that's kind of where we are in the process right now. And I'll go into that a little bit more in just a second. So I talked a minute ago about how those 4 themes kind of make up the meat of a comprehensive plan. But there are other pieces that give some context and help a reader, because I know you'll keep a copy, on your nightstand, help a reader understand the context and how this is implemented and why. And so that's kind of one of the chapters, is what is a comprehensive plan and how is it implemented? What are the regulations? What regulations do we as a city need to comply with, and how are we doing that through this plan? It'll talk about the vision process and the comprehensive plan process, and it'll talk a little bit more specifically or more in detail around the vision statement. And then, of course, going through these goals and policies. And then those goals and policies are what we as a city will address when we're writing new zoning code or identifying what our next program is going to focus on, or our other master plans, our infrastructure master plans. Are we addressing these goals and policies in the comprehensive plan? All right, so where we're at now is in basically a draft state. So we've really dialed in those goals and policies, that wording, and our consultants are off putting together a full draft of the document that will reflect that table of contents that I shared. And we will present that to the Planning Commission and the City Commission in May and June through work sessions. And then throughout the summer, we will hold public hearings with an anticipation of adopting a comprehensive plan in the late summer. And then I've put the website up, OC 2040, if you'd like to go visit for more details. Okay, and I will stop sharing. I'm happy to answer questions.
What can you explain is the state land use goal, and can you give us an example? And also, what happens if the state contradicts your vision for 2040?
Yeah, good question. So in total, there are about 19 goals, statewide planning goals. Not all of them always pertain to us. I think so an example of a goal that doesn't pertain to us is, I think there's a goal around like airports and kind of freight movement. But one of the goals that applies to us in every jurisdiction is public engagement. Public engagement is in there. Housing opportunities is one of the goals. It's called Goal 5, which really focuses on natural resources and historic resources and how are those resources protected. So those are a few of the examples. Another goal is specific to transportation. If the vision conflicts, that's a really good question, because we are required to what the state calls the Department of Land Conservation and Development will acknowledge this plan. I think that the goals are really, the statewide planning goals are really quite broad in the way they are written. And I think there's usually a way to kind of meld them together. But I think the answer is that we can't conflict with those statewide planning goals. So that can be tough at times, but I don't think we're in that position at the moment.
Hi, this is Emma. I participated in the whole OC 2040 process from the beginning to the end. So my question is, how can the Arts Commission take advantage of the OC 2040 master plan in advising the City Commission? How can we, as an advisory body to the City Commission, work with OC 2040 to promote the arts? Because I know that promotion of the arts is one of the goals of the OC 2040 plan.
So let me make sure that I understand your question properly. And I believe what you're asking is, if you were to kind of point to a page or a paragraph or a place in this draft comp plan, would you as a commission be able to kind of pinpoint where in the plan you could say your efforts are being reflected in a recommendation that you want to make to the City Commission fits within this particular part of the comprehensive plan?
I think that's a fair way to summarize it, yes.
Okay. So I'm not sure how directly that relationship will exist. The way that I see it right now, and I think it'll be interesting actually to kind of see the draft and maybe ask that question again. But there is a lot of discussion around civic spaces and livability, which is a pretty broad term. And so I would imagine that, and actually one of the directions we received from the commission, the City Commission, was to define livability. And so I would imagine that in those two places in particular, there are ways to say these projects, these recommendations, these programs and policies that the Arts Commission is supportive of, help provide this civic infrastructure, help create this kind of livability in our communities and neighborhoods. I think that's where the nexus will be.
Thank you.
This is kind of a follow-up to Emma's, but also a question regarding budgeting. I skimmed through all of the slides that you showed, and I didn't see anything about the arts in the 2040 vision. And just if that has been in discussion at all to bring art and culture. And with that, is there a budget that is going with the 2040 vision? And that would be important to the Art Commission, that there is some kind of budget that is set up. So there's funding available for that in the future. And just as a part of Oregon City's growth.
Right. So to the question about budget, the document, the comprehensive plan is not set up as it's not like a capital improvement plan necessarily. So there's not a budget directly associated with the comprehensive plan. That kind of comes later in when departments are setting their budgets for the programs that they need to achieve, or when the city commission is kind of setting their goals of here are some of the programs that we want to take on. And then we have to work through the budgeting process to make sure that's available. So there isn't a budget that's connected to the comprehensive plan in terms of implementing it. And to the other question and kind of comment that you raised about not seeing art in the vision and in the slides, you are correct about that. So I wasn't part of those early visioning discussions, and I did ask our project team if there was a connection there or any kind of specific focus on the arts. And I believe that there just is not in that kind of direct sense that I think you're looking for. I think it is more of a kind of indirect relationship through some of these other broad areas.
At this point of the 2040 draft, is it possible to be able to have a note about arts in Oregon City and that is a part of the 2040 vision?
So, sort of. I think what we could do is as we move forward, we can present to the Planning Commission and the City Commission the fact that I came before this commission tonight, and here is some of the feedback, and is there a desire to kind of rework, if you will, or kind of add something in. And so I think we can make that note in terms of the desire to have something in the document that addresses art in Oregon City.
Yeah, we would really.
And that actually,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, we would really appreciate that. I think it's something that is starting to bloom and flourish in Oregon City. And from our discussions, not just within ourselves, but to the city at large, people are excited about our art commission. People are excited about seeing art come in. And I think that's definitely a part, hopefully, of Oregon City's vision. So whatever we can do to help that, whatever we can do to support that, all of us here are doers from what I've seen over the last 6 months.
I just want to add, I mean, as someone who sat through probably 15 or 16 OC 2040 sessions, the arts was mentioned, but I think it got kind of incorporated into other words like, when we were talking about, sustainability, when we were talking about land use, when we were talking about Parks and Rec. I think that there were many places where we had community-wide conversations where the arts definitely was included in the conversation, but I don't think that the language was like specifically referent to it. But if we went back and went through all the notes, because we took voluminous notes from, literally hundreds of submissions from our community. I think you would find the arts were throughout the document.
This is Commissioner Wilson. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. I was just wondering, this is a question for Emma, for you, for all of us. I'm wondering if maybe art made it in there through the language of the word culture, and thinking about cultural assets and cultural preservation and promoting those sorts of assets for Oregon City in the future. I don't know if that language is in there, but that's one way that art can be included in a larger, broader sense.
Any other comments, questions? So thank you, Aquila. It was a wonderful presentation. Again, if there's anything we can do to help, and we'd love to stay in touch with you to see what we can do to help and to kind of highlight the arts if we can.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is
Commissioner, if I could just take a moment, Commissioner Andrus she's arrived online.
Oh,
So
okay,
just to
great.
make sure she was recognized.
Okay, welcome, Mary. Next on the agenda is presentation from the Downtown Oregon City Association, Liz Hannum. Welcome, Liz.
Hello, thank you. Hi. All right. So I'm Liz Hannum. I'm the executive director for the Downtown Oregon City Association. We started in 2009, so the last 13 years or so, we've been working on building a better downtown for our community. I think that this will, whoop, what happened?
Being stubborn.
Okay,
Just a minute here.
all right.
Try that.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview of what Main Street downtown is. So downtown associations, there's about 2,200 of us across the United States, and there are quite a few abroad as well now. So we're an affiliate of our state program, which is housed in our Parks and Rec department at the state. And then they're an affiliate of the national program, which is where we won the Great American Main Street Award in 2018. So they do 3 awards throughout the year, for each year for communities, small, medium, and large, and we won the medium-sized one, which was awesome. So we work in 4 different areas. This is the 4-point approach that Main Street has been successful at for more than 45 years. We work in economic vitality, which is our business development. It's building the right mix of businesses. It's supporting them. It's building that strong ecosystem within the community, making sure that buildings are filled. It also is where we house our dreaded parking issues. So that's what economic vitality is. Organization and outreach is what we do to support our own organization and to make sure that we're partnering well with other organizations like the Arts Commission. We worked really hard. I know Trieste and I have met for years now, trying to get this Arts Commission up and running. Thank you all for being a part of it. It's very exciting. We also do promotion, which are our events, marketing of the district, working with our regional entities like our DMOs that like Mount Hood territory type things, to try and build a better or a more branded community. So we can increase tourism both locally from residents and from abroad and the greater United States. And then I think most relevant to this body is our design section. So about 25% of what we do is design, beautification, historic preservation, art, placemaking, all of that stuff. It's very people-centered. So that's where about 25% of what we do is what you guys do as well. So it's actually 13 years of progress. So I just want to give you a quick overview of what we've done. So the first 5 years was really focused on beautification. So that was really facade improvements, streetscapes. We spent a lot of money doing a lot of projects that were based on making downtown more livable, safe, better walking, all of that stuff. And then our second 5 years was really focused on building the brand awareness of the district. So we started our tourism projects. We did activities with our DMOs, and we started, we worked with Coraggio to build the tourism plan. Then we started doing our elevator experience project, which was really fun. We did a lot of artwork. If you notice, the mural that was put in the shaft of the elevator, as well as the line drawings that went on the windows, that was all part of that project. So that was about $100,000 project that we put together. And then the third 5 years, which if you look, COVID threw a little wrench in there. But that was really going to be focused on developing the right mix of businesses and supporting property owners, taking an active role in more large scale development projects like the courthouse, moving, and then the mill site. So those kinds of projects in the Riverwalk. And then again, the parking, taking on parking is a big ask of us. So we've been working with the city to do a lot of that. So we're still in that 5-year section. We've just had a little setback here and there, but we're still continuously working. And all of these programs as we move forward are continuous. So we just keep adding on to what we do rather than kind of focusing and then moving on. We're just cumulus with more people or less people, doesn't matter. So I just wanted to give you a quick, we do a lot of events, we do education, we do fun Oregon Trail game run. That was one of our favorite, we had about 600 runners in 2019. We've done the Best of Oregon City. We do a lot of things. And then, so I wanted to focus this presentation just on what art and design for us looks like. And we have several different kinds of placemaking that we try to focus on. And so I just came up with a few little ones. So temporary visual art projects that we do. We've had chalk days. These are some pictures from other communities in Oregon. The piano project was in Klamath Falls. That's something that we've talked about, Trieste and I. And the chalk art as well as murals. Those projects are really fun, little temporary, 1 week to 1 month kind of projects. Then we do permanent art projects, so visual art projects. So this is a mural that's in Oregon and a sculpture walk that I worked on when I was in Sioux Falls. And there are actually 62 sculptures in a 5-block radius. So that's something that we would love to see, even just a couple of sculptures. We've lost 2 of them in the last year here in the downtown. And so looking towards figuring out what to replace them with, or if we can get them replaced. Things like that are on our work plan for the next couple of years here. And then there are temporary design projects that fit within that art and culture world. And so these are some from Better Blocks, which is an organization that we work with occasionally, but they're based in Houston, Texas. And so they're just fun, temporary kind of 1 month to 3 month kind of projects that sit, if you could see, art cactuses. That was an Arizona-based project, obviously. So there's just some good ideas. One of the things that we would like to pick back up is parking day, where you take a parking space downtown and make it into an art project or a little park, basically. So take a parking space and make it a park. So that kind of stuff is where art and design can come together in the downtown. And then there's permanent art projects, or permanent design projects rather. So these sign projects I did when I was in Beaverton. We worked with a co-sign project based in Cincinnati, Ohio. We got artists to design these beautiful 3D signs for 15 of our businesses. So it was paying artists and paying for the manufacture of these really unique, one-of-a-kind kind of signs. So those are some of the projects, and you'll see Canby's gateway entrance and stuff like that, or if you've been to Troutdale, they have a really amazing art-based gateway project. So these are all design projects that are permanent. So we've got, I think that was 4 different types of placemaking that we do. And then there's the 5th one that we couch everything that's not necessarily visual arts in. So we've got performing arts, we've got events. Localopolis is one of the events that we have put on several years in a row. That is putting an artist inside of a business so that we can help makers and artists get out there and also support our businesses by pushing people in the door of them. So there's really a wide variety of art and design type projects that we do. We've done a lot of them. I don't know, one of the things, when Aquila was speaking, I noticed she had one of our Bloom Blooms on the side of the PowerPoint project. And that's something that I don't even remember that we did, but just a few years ago, we put 15 of those sculptures on the light fixtures. And that we actually acted as a fiscal agent for another art-based organization. So we do a lot of that as well, is we help other organizations then also do really cool art-based projects in our community. Whether that's event-based or whether it's permanent or temporary art or design type projects. So that's kind of an idea of what we do and what we could be doing. And I've worked in a lot of communities with art commissions, and so if you have any ideas or questions about how we could work together, what the Arts Commission could do, long term, I'm happy to talk about that, and things that have been successful in other communities that I've worked in.
I think my main question is what's your vision of how the Art Commission can help?
Yeah, I think the most successful I've seen art commissions in other places are where they're focused on education and funding. So they're really trying to spend time and money creating opportunities for artists, for private ownership to engage in design and art projects. So I think those are my 2 kind of main things that I've done with art commissions in the past, is they've been the entity to either tax or raise funds or, whatever that looks like in building kind of a fund for art in the community. And so that's really, there's a lot of grants out there, but we don't always, they're not always the right thing for our community or for the project that we're working on. And so having a fund that's specifically for Oregon City, I think would be fantastic going forward, specifically for art and design projects.
Would the Downtown Oregon City Art Association be open to projects? When I think of downtown and I look at like the murals that are downtown, I mean, they're really nice, but most of the murals that I see like tell stories from a certain kind of narrative. And I'm wondering if the Downtown Oregon City Art, what are you again?
Downtown Oregon
Association.
City Association,
Yeah, would ever be open to, maybe doing storytelling through art in ways that tell the stories of other people who are just as much a part of our history, but they aren't really told, like, the the native peoples that lived here for thousands of years, or, Oregon City's earliest people of color residents, or Jews, or just different communities, because I know we had a lot of communities move through here, and I'm wondering if there's like a way to tell their stories through art, and if,
Yes, definitely.
is that a,
That's a yes, please.
yeah. I mean, how
So
could
I
we
think
make that happen?
one of the things that our organization, our board has decided that we've adopted a "we welcome all" kind of message, and so we are actively looking for ways to take action on that and make all people feel more welcome in our community, whether that's through murals or through sculpture or through story walks. We've done like history walks. May, we're gonna have the Sarah Chase Death Day. So we celebrate the day that Sarah Chase died. I don't know if you know who Sarah Chase is. She's the woman that owned the house right at the top of the elevator and fought the elevator for 3 years. So we celebrate her death. She's been gone a long time. We hire actors to come and portray the people that were there, and are actively looking for ways to do that. We've talked about having native art exhibits within the elevator observation deck. There's lots of different things that we've thought through. It's always about funding and capacity, and so we're willing to do it if we can find a good partner on that. Yeah.
The Canby Arch Bridge, I feel that would be a wonderful addition to the west side of Oregon downtown Main Street. I feel like it's forgotten at the bridge. So that would be, I think, a very important thing to add one day.
Yeah, all funding issues, but we've got like, I would say we probably have a roster of about 70 to 80 projects on the, the back burner. Trieste knows we have lots of brainstorming time on how to fund these projects and what to do and what kinds of artists to work with and how to get them, well known. One of the first mural that we did was a sign mural. So I don't know if you've been on Railroad Avenue and 7th. There's Eclectic Appeal, which unfortunately Randy has passed away since then. But we did the first mural that was fit under the sign code, right? So we tried to bring art to the community. We also paid for the design on the sign for the brat dogs, the dog grooming. So we created the bones sign with that. So we've got so many projects, big and small.
Two questions. One is, would you be willing to share that list with us? Is it open or is it, okay?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. We can't commit to anything, but
I
I'm
mean,
happy to
just, I
share.
think good for us to see what you guys are thinking of.
Yeah.
And then, now I've lost my second question. If I think about it, I'll come back.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess if there aren't any other questions, I'm happy to come back if you want at any time. Just let me know. I'm also happy to share those things with you. And as you put together your strategic plan and things, I'm happy to be a partner in that as well.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Liz. Great presentation. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to working with you in the future. Okay, the event of the night. Next on the agenda is the discussion items is the art mural application for the Friends of the Oregon City Library. Welcome, Linda Orson.
And I forgot to give you this, Daniel.
Thank you so much.
This is signed
Okay.
paper in green ink. I was running out of ink. But at least I got it done.
Online, we have Lucas Nickerson, who's the artist. So if anyone has any questions that'll be related to him, he'll be able to speak up. And Lucas, you can go ahead and unmute during this time if you want. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, My name is Linda Orzen. I am with the Friends of the Library. I'm the chair of the Friends Board, but I also help run the bookstore. And last year, when the murals were legal again, I wanted to put one on our bookstore, so. And Lucas is one of our artists in the Three Rivers Artists Guild. I'm one of the founding members of the guild. And I just loved his work because it's just so whimsical. So I asked him to come to be a part of this. Started out the mural with, I wanted to get the whole community involved in this process. So we put it out in our newsletter. What would you like to see on the bookstore? What are your ideas? What are your concepts?
Linda, if you don't mind, this is all new to us, so we're learning as we go along too.
We got a couple of
So-
steps we need to do
Right, there's
first.
a couple of
Okay.
steps we
Okay.
need to do just to
Okay,
be
well, I
able
was
to have
filling
it
in the
on
quiet
record.
time.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And so, as chair, we're holding an open session as a public hearing to consider a mural application.
This public application is for the Friends of the Oregon City Library Bookstore, and Linda Orzen will be speaking, as well as Lucas, as we need to. And thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we
Am I
can
on?
start, and then we'll have a review of the application by the commissioners.
Do you want me to start anywhere in particular, or?
You can start wherever you like. So we
Okay.
have you on recording, if you want to just keep on going, or if you want to start over again,
Okay,
fine
well,
with us.
anyhow, this was a community project, so we put it
Wonderful.
out to the community. We came up with some ideas, gave it to Lucas. He came up with his grand plan, and it was a beautiful piece of artwork. And then we had to start the process of how are we going to pay for this? Didn't really want to go for a grant, so what we did was we had sponsorships. You want to get your name on one of the books that are going to be in the mural for $100. You can do that. We now have 52 sponsors.
Wonderful,
It's paid for. Thank you.
amazing. I have
And next steps are just getting the application finalized, getting our stamp of approval. So, questions, comments, whatever?
My understanding from our last session is that we're not allowed to ask questions about content, only about materiality. So I'm going to stay focused on that. Can you tell us what is the mural going to be made of?
That's a Lucas question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be an acrylic paint base. It will be varnished, sealed, and we'll have a graffiti coating on it as well. Do you need to know the type of paint I'm using, the brand, or what?
No, I just wanted to ask that question.
Okay.
And Lucas, it will have a UV protective finished coat that will be able to be restored.
Absolutely, yeah. And a protective sacrificial layer as well.
And how large will the mural be?
It will cover,
It is about,
What will the dimensions be?
did anybody? Yes, you probably, so, yeah. You're on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lucas.
I believe it's about 15 by 16 feet, isn't it? I think that was, yeah, I measured in inches, to convert the scale.
Yeah, I reviewed that, and you're right on the money. It's just about 16 by 15. I was looking at the measurements yesterday.
Right.
Okay.
Besides the 52 donors, are you going to be adding any other titles of books or names on those items?
Yes, I will be adding titles of books. My wife was a literature major, and she has a few favorites she'd like to add.
Oh,
My daughter has some favorite books as well, and I do too. So I think, there's going to be some books to fill in for sure.
In the application, it shows that there'll be some repair work done to the wall as well. Are there any concerns that it might get more complicated than just simple repairs, or?
The building was,
I don't,
I'm sorry, the building was painted about 3 years ago. We have a 10-year lease, and the building was painted right after we moved in. We've been there for 3 years. So the building is in good condition. We're going to have it power washed to get all the grime off before he does anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
For the funding that you've received, will that cover all the cost of anything like any additional permits, rental of a scissor lift or whatever you're going to need? I mean, do you have enough funding in place to be able to cover all of your outside costs?
Yes, we do, and we are still taking applications, sponsorships, if anybody's interested. We will have a special fund put away with any money that's left over. We have a contract with Lucas that we're working on, so there is money available for any type of damage that will be done in the future, if anything is done in the future.
Can you also tell us a little bit about your safety plan, like the dimensions of the sidewalk, how you'll shut that down, what you're thinking of? I know even in your application, you were trying to decide on how the mural would be painted because of the elevation of the sidewalk. So how's that going for you?
We have to get a permit from the city, so we have to have a safety plan. We will have to section the sidewalk off up front there. We have a front door, it's going to be closed the whole time. We also have a black back door so that our clientele can come in the back door. So, and we'll have people on site. I mean, we'll have volunteers on site. If there's not a volunteer, well, we have usually 2 or 3 volunteers working per day. And if
Okay.
there's not somebody there, I'll be there.
Yeah, that's great.
And Lucas, do you want to talk about how you're going to paint it? What you've come up with?
as far as access,
Yes,
is that right? Are we talking about like ladders and lifts?
correct, correct, yeah. Oh.
I believe the best solution that I've come up with, and the most cost effective is going to be scaffolding set up. Probably not immediately, like the first day. That's going to be reserved for mostly roller painting, primer coat, that sort of thing. But there will be 2 scaffoldings that measure about 7 by 5 feet. So it has adjustable legs to account for the slope. So that actually made sense. And then I can, cross across the platform and cover quite a bit of ground, about half the ground of the mural, especially on the arch that goes over the door. That's going to be the toughest to reach. So.
How long do you, I'm sorry.
So it's maybe it's an odd question. I'm sorry if it is. I know that building has gone through a couple of changes over the years. I've lived in Oregon City, and now it is the Friends of the Library building. I'm just curious, maybe I can't really ask this question, but what would happen if Friends of the Library moved out of the building? Would the mural just kind of stay there?
We have a 10-year lease. We are into our 3rd year of a 10-year lease.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I think that's also covered in the mural guidelines,
Yeah.
what happens when it does
Right.
pass ownership.
Okay.
And there's some procedures around that.
Yeah, it says
We're
only
not moving
5 years.
anytime soon.
Yeah,
We love our home.
great.
Lucas, how long will it take for you to execute the painting of the mural?
I'm estimating three weeks.
Weather permitting.
Exactly.
Yeah, weather permitting, that'll be the big factor.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right. We ran into some problems on the restoration. Took about a week longer because we kept having to come off of it 2 or 3 days for rain.
Hot.
So
Yep.
You just roll with it.
Yeah, I may, I might come up with a plan to shelter a bit and have the mural protected while I work. But I think, if it's downpour, it's a no-go. But,
Right.
it's May, so,
And when's your start date, your tentative start date?
the 13th
Exciting,
of May.
exciting.
Friday, the 13th. My lucky day.
Oh, damn.
It's my lucky day.
That was not very well planned.
It's okay.
Just undo the scaffolding that day.
Yeah. Just don't walk
Yeah,
underneath the
yeah.
ladder. Uh-huh.
There were two outstanding items on your application, and I
Actually,
wonder if.
Commissioner, we have only one outstanding item. There's a certificate of liability, which is in
In the mail.
in the mail.
wonderful.
So that is the only other item left.
Perfect, perfect. I'm just personally, I'm so excited for you guys. I was trying to beat you on our mural, but so you're the first mural to go up, so congratulations.
I'd welcome your help, Trieste. So.
Yes, I'm there for you. Absolutely.
Well, we
I have a
called
book
on-
going up there.
We called
In
on
memory of my
Kathy
sister.
Rao for some information also, for some help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm available, so please, please. I wanted to get this over with because wanted to remain fair as a commissioner, not to give you any information, so it's fair. But please, anything I can do to help, please let me know.
It's done.
Thank you.
It's done.
Just a point of clarification.
Yes.
Just for the record, this mural is painted, is it painted directly on the building? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it, you had mentioned a high-quality kind of surface, so it will last 5 years or more?
It'll last more than that. According to the manufacturer, it'll last quite a bit, pending, no earthquake or, extreme
Tornadoes.
change in weather, I think. Yeah.
And then I did read on your application that you do, but I just want to clarify again for the record, that you do have a graffiti resistant sealer going on after the mural is completed.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions? Any other comments?
I just think this is a great example of how, the Arts Commission can help to sort of amplify art that's being produced in the community, just by having a group of artists sit around and basically, kind of in our own way be like, this is great, good job.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes,
Thank
we can chalk something else off that we've actually done on our commission.
And we're talking about art, and you're doing art, which is the whole point of this, all of this.
I was the last man standing on the last Arts Commission many, many years ago. I did a lot of art projects here in Oregon City.
Oh, great, we need
So-
to talk to
Yeah.
you sometime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for mentioning that.
I was the secretary, the executive secretary, and I had all the paperwork that helped create this body
Oh, great,
and the murals.
thank you.
Yes,
I'm a
thank you.
pack rat.
Yeah, when we started it, she gave me this, yeah, of documents. Thank you so much.
And I have to also add that the name of this mural was from Lucas's daughter.
Oh.
Yes, her Friends on a Shelf.
Friends
And I
on the
thought,
Shelf.
how perfect. We're going to have our friends on the shelves.
Friends of the library.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, we had the, not just the community, but we had the business community getting sponsorships.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Do we need to make a motion to approve?
Yes, can we do that at this meeting? No other
Sure.
discussion?
That is,
So,
So, yeah, I would like to move that we approve this application with the caveat that once the certificate of general liability is received.
I have one question, and this may have been covered and I just didn't see it. The building owner,
Yes,
has approved this?
he bought 2 sponsorships.
Okay.
I think he approves.
We also have a signed easement from the property owner, so that
Yeah,
also
yeah,
is
uh-huh.
confirmed.
He's been very, very supportive.
Well, I'll second the motion.
All in favor of approving the?
Actually, I need to do a roll call
Sure.
vote
Oh,
on
okay.
this. Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrus?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Here, yes, sorry.
Oh, no, you throw me off. Commissioner Lugo?
Yes.
Commissioner Planton?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodward?
Yes.
All that are attending, it is unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lucas,
Mural application
congratulations.
for Friends on a Shelf has been approved. I'm a little teary-eyed.
Me too.
It's been a long time coming.
We need to get together for a drink. And anytime you want to call me back to pick my brain, there's
Thank you.
not much left up there, but you're welcome to it.
I just wanted to make a comment to staff about, is the Oregon City going to publicize this in any way, promote that this is the first mural approved under the new program?
Yeah, I have not confirmed with Linda if there was going to be a grand unveiling, but I plan to attend to get, there we go. There we go there.
Before.
Before,
We
yeah.
will do an unveiling. We will
Okay.
do a ribbon cutting. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I will be there for sure to get photographs to use as promotional for the community.
Yeah, I'm gonna be photographing it too as he puts it up. Ooh, I'm so excited. Thank you. Now I can go home and eat my dinner.
And we had newscasters come for the restoration, and we were on the news.
Right,
I'll see
yeah,
if I can
on
even
the Go with
contact
Joe.
that and said, hey,
Yeah.
remember the restoration? We've got a brand new
We got
one.
it.
So we
Yeah.
can bring that up for you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was nice meeting you all. Hope to see you
see you.
again.
Thank you.
Stop by the bookstore too.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you very much.
Now, Madam Chairman, you have to close the public hearing.
Yes. So, let's see. Call for public comment. Call for the public comment. There was no public comment.
We did skip a couple steps,
Yes.
but that's okay. So you just need to
So we
close.
go on to, were no conditional requirements. Those were covered. We did call for the vote. So we'll
should use your
close
gavel.
this public hearing for the application to the mural, which has been approved. Oh, wait a
We
minute.
all want you to gavel.
That was years in the making.
It was.
Well done.
Liz was part of the very first conversation.
Aye.
Bye. Okay, moving on, everyone. We were all given the amendment to the bylaws to take a review of. Just want to know if anybody has any additional comments, revisions. See if we can move on to approving those.
I have one proposed amendment to section 5.3. It says, for Secretary when the Arts Commission was relaunched in 2021, staff agreed to serve the function of preparing written minutes of the Arts Commission meetings. Just to make sure that we're kind of coordinating better with the ordinance, I would suggest changing that to be that when the Arts Commission relaunched in 2021, the Arts Commission agreed to appoint staff to serve as the secretary of the commission. Minor detail, but
So noted.
Okay. I have one comment on section 4, under organization number 3. Says the appointees shall have 3-year terms. Do we have to clarify that since we have 1-year, 2-year, and 3-year terms?
It's up, you don't have to clarify it. It's,
I mean, clarify it in the bylaws.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's not in the bylaws.
No, it just
No.
says the appointees shall have 3-year terms.
Oh, I
Should
see
we
what you're saying.
clarify that there are 1-year, 2-year, 3-year terms?
No, you don't have to do that for the bylaws because the bylaws, this is a situation where you actually started kind of in the middle.
Okay.
And so therefore you had to sort of stagger in that the Arts Commission was just beginning, you had to stagger yourselves. This won't happen again, hopefully. You won't
Okay,
do it
I
again.
understand.
So you don't have to clarify it in the bylaws.
Okay. So do we have to have those changed before we can actually take a vote? Or can we take a vote and say with those changes that Commissioner Josh Planton
If
has
so
given?
motioned.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we should add, I know that we had discussed, if a member of the Arts Commission should do, updates to the city commission at their,
Yeah.
I don't know,
We should
quarterly
definitely-
meetings.
I mean, we
I
should
wonder if that
definitely
should be
have some
added.
kind of connection
Right.
to the city commission.
Is that something
we
that we might
bind-
want to add to the bylaws? Is that what I'm hearing? I just want to make sure I understand what your
Well,
question
can
is.
we bind the commission that we have to, report to them on a quarterly basis? Wouldn't that be something that they would have to?
Yeah, they would have to decide that for themselves if they want to hear you.
Yeah.
Report. But I wouldn't put it in the bylaws. And because this is just an operational, it's simply an operational goal. It's not something that would go in a bylaw.
But I mean, since it's been brought up, this is certainly not an inappropriate time to just, take that thought and say, let's do that.
Exactly.
Like, somebody do it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I can do that. I can contact city commissioners and say at some point, we would like to give you an update and then have a regular update every quarter.
That'd be
So
great.
And I'll
do
work with
that.
you, Trias, to find the right timing, because I
Sure.
don't know what their schedules are today, but I can
Right.
find that out.
So we can I'll contact you about that. But
Commissioner
it,
Klein, can we have the actual wording of your amendment?
Yeah, so, section 5, number 3, secretary : when the Arts Commission was relaunched in 2021, the Arts Commission agreed to appoint the staff as secretary of the commission.
Great, thanks.
So noted.
okay. All right. So would someone like to take state a motion to
So-
approve the bylaws with that change?
I motion that we approve that change to the bylaws and place these bylaws into vote.
Yep.
I second.
You can't second you made who made the motion?
I
You
made the
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. You were talking. You like to, go ahead.
ESP. So,
I think
Okay.
all in favor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So bylaws with the one change incorporated that Commissioner Planton stated has been accepted by the Art Commission. Yeah.
Getting things done.
Right. Next on the agenda is to go over the financial. Did anybody have any comments or anything on the financial that will be added as an addendum to the bylaws? Financial management protocols? Any comments, revisions, changes?
Nothing to be made at this time, but I think down the road, thinking how the process we put in place for reviewing and deciding on kind of an annual budget. I don't know if it needs to be in here right now, but something just to keep in the back of our mind.
Okay, to review this yearly as a.
Well, I think we should have a process, maybe saying starting in October, we start talking about budget and then have a decision on a final budget, what we would like to look at spending the following year, something to that degree, but again, details to be defined later.
Okay. All right, again, would somebody like to make a motion then?
I actually have a question, I'm sorry. So, under number 2, when it talks about the Arts Commission may raise funds through grant solicitation, et cetera, the last sentence says, at no time shall an arts commissioner directly collect funds from anyone from anyone is a part of a fundraising activity or from any other type of activity. So basically the fundraising that we do needs to then people need to go to can someone just explain that to me? Like, I just didn't understand it. Like, we could do fundraising, but we can't touch the money.
Well,
Is that what's
us
basically saying?
individually aren't supposed to be handling the money.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You can't receive the funds.
Okay.
The city would receive the funds and put it into your account.
Okay, so what does a fundraising activity then look like?
Fundraising activity could be you might have some type of, I hate to use that word, but I don't want to use that word. You could have some type of social and to support artists, people who are starting out in the field, and you could have a social to celebrate them and to raise money for their journey. You can do something like that. And then donations checks or donations would have to go directly to the city
Got
government.
it. Okay, thank you.
So
And we may have to work with, like an extending organization, because we are an advisory council to the city. But those funds could be designated in the fundraiser, at least a portion of that it goes into the art fund of Oregon City. But then again, we wouldn't receive it, but it would go to the city.
That's right, you have a trust.
Lots of fundraising ideas.
The Art Commission has a trust.
I just want to make sure I heard that correctly. So you're saying that that's actually something we could do. We could have an event that's a fundraiser for young and emerging artists, and then use the city as a mechanism to collect funds to support those artists.
That's correct.
Oh, great. Well, let's do it.
Yes.
And then there would be, you guys would decide the mechanism on how to decide how those funds are then distributed based on the rules and guidelines that
Yeah.
you guys would establish.
So one of the things that was mentioned, I know we're in the middle of approving this, one of the things that was mentioned from the downtown Oregon City business was this idea that I guess that maybe that person talked with you about, Commissioner Trist, about gathering funds to have some sort of public sculpture garden or thing. I mean, is that something that we could collect funds for? How would that work, James?
Well, one of the things that I think I'd like to advise you on is that there are a couple of ways to handle it, but the easiest way to deal with this, the cleanest way to deal with this type of thing is allow the staff to come up with some ideas.
Okay.
And through a staff report, submit those ideas. And of course, you can always add to them, but submit those ideas so that you'll get the staff report ahead of time, so it'll make you think about other things. And so when we have the meeting, the next meeting, you can get a full-throated discussion about that via staff report and the recommendations that you could do, because you have to be somewhat careful about one of the things you really should not do is you really should not fund a specific person or favor a specific entity at the exclusion of everybody else.
Right, there would have to be an open call for artists
Yeah.
and,
It has to be transparent.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And so if you have a program, you would have guidelines that you approve.
And the Arts Commission also couldn't approve the sculptures because that would be making content decisions.
It
No,
could if it's on
actually,
If it's
city
on public,
property.
yes, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
In
Thank
that
you.
If it's private property, then we can't have any say.
Okay,
If
great,
it's public
thanks.
property, then we do.
Okay, great,
And
thanks.
if we fund it
That's right.
also, right?
But
know
our
it's-
budget depends upon
Well-
Oregon City staff deciding
Funded on
what
private property.
they want for art installations or art activities.
Your budget.
Our
decide-
budget, when we start deciding on our budget, we have to wait on the Oregon City staff to let us know what their interests are.
No,
No.
no.
No, what we're suggesting is being able to kind of give you guys the seated idea of what is possible in just this recommendation, and then using that, because it'll help you define the parameters of what is acceptable and what isn't based on city requirements and public law. And so once you have that, then you're like, oh, we could do this. Or, I mean, you just saw it with Commissioner Lugo where she's like super excited about, we could do that. And we want to be able to encourage that to continue.
But then it ultimately has to be approved by the city commissioner.
But just,
Yes, it has to be, something like, whenever you expend money, it has to be approved by the city commission. And if you're gonna do some type of public art, if you're gonna commission public art, the city commissioners have to approve the commission of it. So there, since the city is accepting it into its inventory of art.
And this is a good segue into the discussion for the use of the Art Commission funds. But before we move on to that, can we take a vote? And if nobody else has any revisions or questions or comments on the financial management protocols, can we take a vote and approve those?
One question, are you adding this to the bylaws?
It's not a part of the bylaws, but it'll be like an addendum to the bylaws as part of our policies.
this is the
and
financial
procedures.
protocols.
I know, but you've already voted on the bylaws.
Okay, so then we don't have to vote on the financial management
No, this is just your
protocols?
operational, this
Okay.
is your operational standard, what is it? Standard
SOP.
operation procedures.
Okay.
So it doesn't really have to be in the bylaws.
Okay, so, good segue, because we've been discussing it already, for the funds for, Oregon City. I want to bring something to the table that came by, just for comment, even thought we can discuss it further at another time, but, it was brought to my attention, by someone, and I'm still trying to find out what is actually, true or fact, is that it's either a state or a federal regulation that for every capital project, there has to be a percentage given to the arts. And if the developer of that project or the management of that project decides not to use it for those arts, that 1% or whatever that percentage is, has to be given back to the city for funding for the arts. And they said that is how the polls at the top of Malala that was the percentage of that project, that's what they decided to do, was to have that piece of art. So I just wanted to see if we could look into that further. My understanding, and it was just an assumption, was that at one time there was a 1.3% ordinance that was written up. That was given to the city maybe 15 years ago, that 1.3% was of every capital project was supposed to go to the arts. 1% for the piece of art itself and the 0.3% to the administration of it. And then my understanding, and it was my assumption, that was because it was not signed, it was not implemented. But this person who was a trustworthy source said, I think that's actually state or a federal mandate. So every project. So I just wanted to put that out there, if we could look into that. Is there a fund somewhere after all the capital projects for the last 10 years or more, has there been a fund set up for the arts from those capital projects?
You really can't discuss this because it's not agendized.
Okay.
It's in
Well, it's
discussion.
under the discussion appropriate use of the Arts Commission funds.
Yeah, but this is a taxation proposal. It's
not a taxation.
I think you just have a question on whether
just have
or
a-
not.
For
it-
funding the Arts Commission, it's worth, I think, looking into.
So can we just ask staff to go research and come back to us what the status of that is, what the requirements are, and if there is a fund?
Great.
Yeah, we can do that, but we simply can't really discuss, because it's so specific and it's so special. It's not agendized.
And I think that's all my comment was, is can we look into that, and would we turn to you to look into that? Is that something that we should contact the commissioners ourselves?
It's something that
Is that a
staff
public records
would look
request?
into.
Okay,
Yeah, I can create a staff report. I've already did a little bit of research on it, so
thank
that
you.
I think we can, now that I've gotten some direction from you, I can expand that and further and turn that into a report.
okay, good. Last item is the staff update on the damaged sculpture.
There is no new update.
No update?
No.
Okay.
The insurance company has reached out to the artist. The artist has tried to reach out to the insurance company, and it's a little bit of a, but the last update that I could get from our risk management company, or risk management department division, said that they are still working on trying to connect the dots on that one. So.
Okay, okay, good. For the last items, I wanted so much to be able to talk to so many of you that I've started to ask one-on-one. If you want to come meet for coffee or wine or whatever, and let's just be able to make sure all of your voices are heard. I don't want anybody to lose the momentum that we have, and I so appreciate everybody's momentum in this and all your feedback. So some items came up, and I'm going to kind of go through them, but I'm also going to open it up to Tima and Josh, who I've met with so far, and thank you everybody that has responded that say yes, just give me a date on such and such a week. So thank you for that. It's been really beneficial. So one of the main things is a sustainable funding for the Art Commission. And we wanted to know when the next budget year is, and do we need to prepare something for that budget so that there is sustainable funding for the arts and for the Art Commission. Question out there again for when would we do that, and when is the next budget year for Oregon City?
So I was on the budget cycle. It's a 2-year budget cycle, and it was approved, was it last fall?
Yeah, the budget cycle starts in it's a July to June.
Yeah,
budget
so
cycle.
it's about,
Halfway?
yeah, a little less than.
So we'll have to wait for almost 2 years to,
Well, I mean, there
October's when
there
the
is,
process starts.
yeah, I mean,
it would be less than
there's
that.
also,
okay,
Less than a year.
this is probably a conversation to have with a city commissioner.
okay,
I mean, I would really suggest that you reach out privately to a city commissioner as our representative and have that conversation with them.
sure. Another idea that was brought up was lots of conversations on, things that we can really have hands-on. What would be the regulations around a subcommittee within the Art Commission? The Art Commission designated a subcommittee. Because it would be a subcommittee that would maybe in charge of a future event or something that was more hands-on for the public, can there be more than 2 commissioners on that subcommittee? If it's designated as a subcommittee, not an Art Commission meeting.
No.
Does that make sense?
Unfortunately, the 2 is, you get to the third person and it now has to be a scheduled meeting.
Yeah, and it has to be agendized, and it becomes a public meeting. Because you're a public body, you can't venture into that kind of thing.
But if we asked for a subcommittee, we may be able to have up to 2 members of the Art Commission on that subcommittee. Okay.
That actually leads to something I'd like to bring up, is I've been approached by the city recorder. His job is, part of the process is to go and annually go and visit each of the commissions and talk about some of the guiding principles of how meetings and systems are supposed to happen. We didn't have that happen as you guys were able to first be formed, because there was a vacuum that occurred because the city recorder had left at that time, and you guys formed, and so that got missed. And so Jacob has asked to see if he could be placed on the agenda for next meeting for about 30 minutes. And it would be a good orientation, I think, for everyone. So, is that, everyone okay with that?
Sounds good to me.
Another idea that was put out, because again, you meet and everybody has so many ideas.
Commissioner Chase, could I just
Go ahead.
ask before you move
Yes.
on to this? What did people want to form a subcommittee about?
Say that we wanted to start some kind of event or some kind of project. As our commissions were more like an advisory, could we form a subcommittee, okay, and ask outside artists, have maybe up to 2 art commissioners to start to form that subcommittee to be able to do an event?
Can we do that?
It all depends on how you do it. Now, if you're going to have a subcommittee to say, to do some research on eventually commissioning a work of art on public land, say something like that. Then the subcommittee could do some research and report back to the larger body.
Right.
And then if you provide the larger body with the proposal, then the larger body would vote on it, and then you would contract with someone to do the art.
Yeah. And
Or
Josh,
study.
would you, I'm sorry, Commissioner Planton, would you like to expound on that at all? Because that was something that,
It was, yeah, when we were discussing it, it was just more of a question of how are the parameters in which we operate, the no more than 2 commissioners outside of a meeting talking about work, if that applies to a committee, and looking at, if we want to start working on some actual projects and putting together some proposals that would come back to this commission to approve, review and approve, what is the limitations there if 3 people wanted to get involved in it? So it sounds like no more than 2, but we can invite other members, artists, staff, all that to participate in it as well.
Well, you can invite staff, you can't invite other members.
No, I mean, other like community members, artists, people outside of this commission, yeah.
To be on the subcommittee.
Yeah.
Yes,
To help
absolutely.
provide their
Sure, of course.
expertise, yeah.
Yes, that's true.
another idea almost in line with that is, would anybody be open to meeting every 2 weeks for a while? Almost every other meeting have almost like a creative brainstorming meeting. Then the next is to bring it to the table, to have more of a procedural meeting.
So frequently.
I know people are busy, but I just wanted to put it out
What's the
there.
minimum number we need to have a meeting? Is it 4?
There's no minimum. You can meet as many, you can meet every day if you like.
No, I mean, what's the minimum number of commissioners that we need to have present to have a meeting?
Oh,
She's talking about a sub-meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's talking about a subcommittee
adding
meeting,
like, yeah,
addition to what we're doing already.
yeah.
Right, but aren't you saying that you wanted that to be the whole Arts Commission?
No,
You're just talking about a subcommittee of 2 people?
yes.
No,
No?
I was saying,
One meeting
would
and
we
one.
want to, like, even just to raise a hand, would anybody like to, for a while, in the creative process, meet every 2 weeks?
No.
Okay. And I'm bringing
I
it
have
to
to
the
be honest,
table.
I would love to do that
Yeah.
because I feel like we'll get our work done a lot faster that way, but.
Right, yeah,
There's no way.
yeah, and I would too. I would go,
I would
I
have
would
to
do
find
it,
some
but
scheduling things
yeah.
too, to
No,
find rooms.
there's just too many people with too busy lives. So I wanted to put it on the table because it was one comment and suggestion that I'm like, hey, I'm retired, I'd be there, but I know people have busy lives. An important thing is that we feel that it's very important to have more visibility for the Art Commission. I don't think people really know the Art Commission is there. I talked to CCAA about possibly linking to their site, that they said, absolutely, we'll create a link for you, but we still need a page. And we feel that the best way to do that, and again, all of your input on this, is that it is, and I think we talked about it before at another meeting, that it goes under the economic development section of the city of the Oregon City, and that there's a page for the Art Commission. So that at least we have something documented that we're here. So I'd like to kind of move ahead with that. Has anything been done on the city side of creating any kind of page on the City of Oregon City website?
Well, actually, you would be on the city's web, you should be on the city's, there should be a website, a web page
Yeah.
on the
We
city.
have one now already, don't we?
Yeah, well, you
I'm
have,
looking right now.
Under the commissions, yeah, boards and commissions.
yeah, because you're not a department of the Department of Economic Development. You're actually, once again, an advisory committee to the commission. So it's their website,
Yeah.
which is the city's website.
Okay,
So that if you want some publicity, there are different ways to do that. I mean, just because you have a website doesn't mean that people go to it and read it. There are different things that the committee could do in order to garner attention. Like, for instance, you could put notices in the paper that, first of all, you're meeting. Another thing you can do is also have meetings, any one of you could meet with the chamber or some public entity out there, or maybe some, a group of the housing development people, where you can talk about art. And it's just how you establish a relationship with the community.
But why wouldn't we have a place in the city of Oregon Cities, a page there that people say, oh, I wonder if Oregon City has an art commission? And
you
because
could.
every other town has that.
You
can
could.
Google it and every art commission is
I
under the
actually
same,
believe
so-
there is a page that's specific because each of the commissions has some kind of a section. Unfortunately, the website's down and I can't get to
Oh,
it.
okay.
I just
Yeah.
tried.
All right. So if you could look into that for us, and if there's anything that we can do from our side to put any information in there, even if it's just a headshot of each one of us with a little 3-sentence bio, just that, here's our art commissions, or just, somebody updates it simply as, this is what we've done so far, this is what's on the agenda, this is when we meet. Very, very simple, but at least if somebody Googles Oregon City Art Commission, there's a link somewhere.
So James, I just want to make sure I heard you right. Are you saying that any one of us can go to another organization in the community and speak for the Arts Commission or do we just only speak for ourselves as individuals?
No, you can speak for the Arts Commission, and provided the Arts Commission has voted to allow you to do that.
Okay,
So I went right to the end of the
Gotcha.
line, but there's a process. So
Right.
So anyone
Thank
who
you.
wants to be a public spokesman, or people who want to be a public spokespeople for the Arts Commission, you have to be designated as such by
Okay.
the Arts Commission, and then go.
got it. Thanks. I want to ask something for our next meeting. Just, I don't know if the agenda's already been set, but I'm wondering if we, the summer's coming up pretty quick. And I would love to hear from from Parks and Rec about what's going on with like any kind of arts programming for the summer. And if, we could just kind of have a creative brainstorm with Parks and Rec in case there's anything that we might want to suggest to them.
Right.
Is that something that we could do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Could we have them as would you like them as one of the presenters
Yeah.
for the next meeting?
yeah,
Yeah. So do you want to contact them? Okay.
great, thanks.
And the Art Center, Soul Flags, I think they do summer art camps too.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Soul Flags, our community center does summer art camps.
Back to the point that Commissioner Andrews was making about the website. So maybe not just on the commission, but just public arts in general. Would it be possible for staff to give us some options on maybe updating the page or giving some things that we can do on the website to highlight those? I know we've talked about in the past, is adding resources for artists, on the site as well, and that might be something, just looking at some options, that we could build out and maybe linking back to that, commission page, but yeah, really focus on getting the word out there that there's options for people to come in and talk to us, to share their ideas with us, and then getting more information out there about local artists as well, so.
It turns out that the page is available, it just is not available on my laptop here. Tammy Jo just sent me the
I can
link,
send it to
and my
anybody
phone
right
opened
now.
it fine.
Yay.
So there
If you
is
want
an
the link.
Arts Commission page.
I can email or text it to you. Or Daniel can, because I just sent it to him.
But it can be beefed up to do what you want to do.
Yes.
It does need a little beefing up, it has.
Yeah, you
need a
It's just basic text, but it's an opening statement.
Yeah, you can beef it up.
We can also put announcements about the Arts Commission on the Willamette Falls, when they run all those announcements all the time
Right.
on that channel.
Oh, okay, the Willamette Falls Studio.
Yeah.
That's a
They've
great
got that one
idea.
channel where they have like announcements about things, like
They'd be a
meetings
good
and stuff.
presenter too. Last thing, I'll do it really quick and then open it up to anybody else. I know we're starting to run a little late. So everybody know about the Arch Bridge 100th year celebration. They had asked for some kind of interactive public art project. I had an idea that I put together that I've talked to Wesleyan about. and the Confederated Tribes representation, where there will be, where we're planning on a 3-panel mural, which will be 8 feet by 4 feet tall from the Westland perspective, from the Oregon City perspective out the Arch Bridge, and then the Confederated Tribes in the middle. But it'll be interactive where we'll do an RFP, call for artists, and the artist would be responsible to draw that on the mural as a paint by numbers, designating different colors for parts of the mural. Then the community on the event day would be invited to come and paint. And talking to the chair of the Westland Commission, she wanted to approach her commission about helping fund it. Our first plan A is submitting our budget to the city itself, who is organizing the whole event, Westland and Oregon City, to see if they have it in their budget. But plan B is if they don't have enough budget in the budget or can't or say no, Westland is approaching their art commission about funding half of it. Would we want to consider that? We can put this on the table for another discussion next meeting. The event isn't until October, but because it is city organized and city run, do we have an easier time of funding it, rather than giving it to an independent organization? The budget would be $3,000, $750 for each of the artists, 3 artists, to do that mural, and also asked to be there at the event to help the public in painting it, and then up to $750 for materials that would have to be submitted to the city for reimbursement for everything. So I wanted to put that on the table for discussion, how people feel about that.
For the agenda?
Yeah, we can push that to the
And we should also talk about presence at all the different festivals that are taking place and different school resource fairs that are occurring in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, Commissioner Treist, how would those artists be chosen if we're talking about giving them money? I just want to make sure that, like, is there going to be some kind of open process that artists are going to be able to?
Well, shouldn't that go on the agenda for next time, please?
Okay.
And it would go out as an RFP, like a call for artists, contacting every art organization, putting it out to CCA, just like, doing a regular call for artists for any event.
And that would be like some of our $20,000.
Yeah, it'd be like $1,500 to be able to say it's sponsored by the Oregon City and Westland Art Commission.
I too would love to end the meeting. I need to get my daughter home.
Yes,
So, like I said, put that on the agenda
right.
for next, okay.
Right. Okay, we do have on the agenda next week too, is I just put a mural application in by a Native American artist, total Native American art, corner 99, you'll be happy, Emma. So that will be part of our agenda next week.
And I would also like to know what's the procedure for that. If it's a commissioner requesting a mural application, I'll be doing the same thing.
I have to
Later on,
I'll be
we
recusing
recuse ourselves,
myself.
of course,
Yeah.
yes.
So you just, in her case, she'll be presenting, so she would step down from the dais. And then Commissioner Tima, you would.
Any other announcements, any new business, any other comments? Sorry, running late. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 8:40.